Wow, it's hard to believe, but it's the last session of the day. C'est vraiment difficile à croire, mais nous voici à la dernière séance de la journée. Over the past 2 days, we've heard from industry leaders, thinkers, and experts on a variety of topics and issues. We've looked at our present, and we've gazed into what the future may hold for the travel and tourism industry. In this final session, we'll be exploring how national action plans affect you in your respective province or territory, and how your region is working with TIAC to rebuild Canada's visitor economy. Lors de cette dernière séance, nous étudierons comment les plans d'action nationaux vous concernent dans votre province ou territoire respectif et comment votre région collabore avec l'AITC pour rebâtir l'économie touristique et l'industrie du voyage du Canada. We hope you enjoy these regional sessions.
Hello and welcome to the Industry Association update for the Tourism Industry Association of Nova Scotia. My name is Lisa Dar. I'm the Director of Industry Relations and Professional Development here with TIANS, and I'm very pleased to be with you this afternoon to provide our association update and share some of the work that's been happening from the association over the past number of months as we support industry through these times and look to support them moving forward. I want to acknowledge and thank TIAC for inviting us to provide this update. As noted in the video, you actually are participating in one of many sessions from our colleagues that are happening right across the country at the same time. And we've been working very hard in staying connected with those tourism and territorial industry association communities as we look ahead at how we can continue to support industry. I'm going to provide some brief remarks today and share a bit of a presentation, and following which and during which we will also be monitoring for questions, comments, and we want to make sure, of course, that we have opportunity for you to share your perspective, to ask questions, and hopefully provide some good dialogue. So moving into 2020, pre-pandemic, obviously, our industry was in a relatively strong position in Canada, in Nova Scotia in particular, and the record growth that we were experiencing heading into the pandemic was severely curtailed very quickly with the advent of COVID-19 hitting the industry. Across Canada, we're looking at somewhere in the neighborhood of a 47% drop, and in Nova Scotia, it's actually quite a bit more significant. Forecasts are saying that we are sitting at approximately a drop of 2.6 billion down to 900 million for our overall revenues. Obviously, this is having a significant impact not only on business operators, but on their employees. And from an employment perspective, this means that we are looking at, in about 10 weeks across Canada, 60% of our workforce was displaced in less than 10 weeks during that time frame. And in Nova Scotia, we are actually looking at a very significant impact continuing as we head into the fall. The initial impact with our industry was sitting at about 55,000 of our original employees, with a number of jobs lost by April of over 28,000. So the number short compared to last year in August was somewhere around 10,000. Records and data coming out currently, and research is telling us that this is going to be a very slow recovery, and it's already been identified for Atlantic Canada from the president of the Tourism and Human Resource Council that Nova Scotia and Atlantic Canada will recover quite a bit more slowly than the rest of the country. So in terms of our overall recovery, we're actually going to be planning and looking forward to a little bit of a longer timeline. Most experts are saying that we're looking at about a 3-year at least recovery time frame. And so that means that we really need to not only realign our activities currently, but be thinking more broadly about what's happening with the industry moving forward and how can we support best reimagining and bringing the industry to new life moving forward. So today I wanted to share some of our realigned activities of what's been happening with the association over the past number of months. And it's great to see so many of you actually have joined on the call today. So I think the first thing that we wanted to talk a little bit about is the fact that prior to the pandemic breaking, we had a very strong regular communication process that happened both with the Tourism Industry Association of Canada, but more broadly with each of our provincial and territorial industry association partners across the country. And that meant that in the early spring, We adjusted some of those communications and we started changing the way that we connected and shifted to a weekly PTTIA meeting. In those discussions, we looked at where some of the aligned areas of impact were happening. We continue to hold those regular discussions and meetings with our partners from across the country and with input from TIAC to help support the national story. And part of that means that we need to identify where are some of those core areas happening that are consistent across the country. Obviously, some of the major ones are linked to the needs for business around specific business supports, financial bridging, low interest loans, all of those sort of obvious ones. But a number of weeks into the pandemic, some other issues started to arise. Issues related to labor, concerns related to insurance, concerns related to taxation. And a number of those issues actually helped inform coordination of survey outreach and data collection to help inform that national story, and also help to further drive our efforts at a provincial level to have discussion around how to best assist industry through this. The other main activity that we undertook late in the summer that had some significant outcomes was cooperating with the TIAC team on communication for support needed for the tourism sector, specifically around using the Hardest Hit campaign. And part of the impact as a result of using that Hardest Hit campaign and leveraging that was the extension of the wage subsidy program through the federal government, which we have been advised making it into the throne speech and being identified was actually a significant part of a result from that campaign. So a good win there. Not long after the pandemic hit, we were hearing from industry that they were being overwhelmed with information, media. They didn't really know where to turn a lot of times. And so for you as operators, one of the first things that we did was to actually cooperate to come together and build a specific website for Nova Scotia that was based on the premise of Tourism Strong. This website was actually created as a digital hub, and it focuses on providing daily industry updates, support around labor market research and tourism workforce supports, up-to-date information and guidance on how to apply for various government support programs and resources, health and wellness supports as well. We're hearing from a lot of operators that both the physical and mental impacts are having some significant impacts on their own operations. We also included a research tab on Tourism Strong, and this particular tab is getting a lot of information and a lot of research around what's happening globally as well as nationally and provincially. And as well, we're highlighting how are we rebuilding? Where are the access points for industry to come together to support each other? And also an FAQs page, of course. This site has been really popular with industry. We get thousands of hits on it on a regular basis. It's become the go-to site. In addition to providing a help desk support through our phone and email, this Tourism Strong site has become the most credible and I think defined source of a hub of information for our operators to be able to trust and go to for up-to-date information. In fact, it was so popular that we actually partnered with our other regional industry associations from the provincial associations in New Brunswick, PEI, and Newfoundland and Labrador to create a Tourism Strong Atlantic Hub. And this was created with the intention of providing a regional hub for those initiatives that are linked and supported through an Atlantic regional basis. This is becoming a place where the Atlantic Canada Agreement of Tourism information can often be housed and found. And each of the provincial associations that are noted there have their own version of Tourism Strong in place now. So Nova Scotia played a role in leading that project and continues to help support the content staying updated. Another resource that came forward from industry is that they identified really early on that with the pandemic, there was a significant amount of impact happening for our frontline workers, our healthcare workers, our first responders. And like all good hospitality operators, there was requests from operators around how can we help support and recognize the incredible commitment that's happening here on our front lines. TIANS Cares was developed to help profile and share with those first responders great opportunities for them to experience a getaway a special package, a reduced rate experience, something that would actually let them see that our industry cares. We want to acknowledge and support them. And we've developed a website specifically highlighting packages and special offers just for that audience. In doing so, we're demonstrating to those first responders that our industry is paying attention and we want to be able to take care of them. This whole program is built around the symbol that you see in dark blue, and it actually is an international symbol of hospitality, gratitude, an international symbol of gratitude. So it's become the foundation for that TIANS Cares program, and we're continuing to populate that with special offers from industry across the province, a special program for our membership to be able to share their gratitude. As we learned more about the virus and the information around disinfecting and sanitizing became more and more apparent, we actually launched a new program with appreciation to Manitoba for sharing their content, and we adjusted it and launched it here in Nova Scotia for Clean It Right. This program is available in 3 different modules, and industry is telling us again they were looking for direction, support, and reinforcement that their cleaning protocols actually were following best practice standards, and that would give them an opportunity to be able to market and promote to both the public as well as their own workforce that their standards were creating a clean and safe destination and operation. The program is available for people working in accommodations, restaurants and food service, and in the retail sector, and that's included for us a number of different museums, fitness facilities, and other types of public service, open to the public type of operations. In addition to the online training and resources that we've been providing, we were very fortunate late in midsummer to be able to partner with Tourism Nova Scotia, our Crown Corporation here in Nova Scotia, to offer a tourism reactivation for industry program. The TRI program is actually a very flexible opportunity for industry to be able to support expertise and consultants to help them pivot, adjust, and adapt their operation to be able to weather through this pandemic and come out on the other side stronger with a focus on quality and encouraging them to partake in resources that are available. Some of the program supports that have been made available through the TRI program include a number of different educational webinars, but in particular, we're seeing industry partake in the need for financial expertise and advice, as well as occupational health and safety feedback and supports. Moving forward, we're actually seeing additional requests that are related to occupational health and safety again, as well as managing the labor workforce more effectively in a current and post-pandemic world. TIANS has had a number of different pieces of feedback and been in the news quite a bit over the last few months. Of course, with our ongoing partnership with various government agencies and government organizations, it's important for us to ensure that we're representing industry needs, and when needed, we call and ask for those particular things to be adjusted, to be addressed, and to be supported. And we use those media channels wherever possible to help get the word out. With our industry support, some of the things that we're talking about seeing happen is that there's been a huge pivot, of course, to online training. Everybody now is using our virtual, those virtual scenarios. And the online training for us has experienced a significant uptick. However, we are also seeing that some participants and some operators are still seeking in-person workshops. The TIANS organization as an office never closed during this time frame. You should know that your staff, your association team has been here ready to serve you throughout and continue to do so. As we adjusted to the online pivoting, however, it did encourage us to look at new ways and new fresh ideas for how we share training. And so we're excited to be able to continue looking at those options and continue to support things like Emerit Online, providing support and access to Cornell level programs through our partnership with eCornell. We have a great partnership with the ACOA and ACOA Atlantic to be able to provide a number of resources to industry. And in addition to all that, we're using research and partnerships through our connections with Tourism HR Canada to ensure the latest labor market information is available. We want to ensure that when we're ready to really get back to business in full, that we still have the labor market and that we don't go back to having shortages like we did before. Part of that means that we also need to look at our business policies and give some thought to how we can be an advocate around some of those areas needing support. Clean It Right is one example of that, but there were other supports that we put in place, like helping businesses actually develop their reopening protocols. We helped hundreds of operators create their own safe operating protocols in response to provincial health requirements. So moving forward, where do we go? Well, on an advocacy front, TIANS is continuing to have a renewed focus on policy issues. We continue conversations with our partners through TIAC at the federal level, as well as other partners across the country. And at a provincial level, we have renewed talks happening and renewed discussion with the government around where those provincial supports can best fit and where the most strategic response can be placed. It's important that we continue to align our efforts with the provincial tourism territorial associations, with Tourism HR Canada on the labor front. We have a wonderful, active strategic rebuilding committee that is doing a lot of work behind the scenes to help influence and inform policymakers. And we're continuing to support and work with our tourism industry group advisories. On a communication front, we have to continue to keep tourism at the forefront. Ensuring that we're keeping strategic with our messaging and that we're not losing sight of sharing the story and not getting so caught up in just the numbers. Every number is a story of a business, small, medium, large-sized operators across the province. And as part of that, we're also taking a look at what our membership model looks like. How can we best support industry and ensure that we're also bringing great value to the membership? On the rebuilding front, we will continue to offer the TRI program over the coming months, and we're seeing ongoing demand for that. As we look forward to what 2021 could bring, industry is continuing to ask questions around supports for things like pivoting their social media or digital marketing campaign. And TRI program is one example of a program that can actually support that kind of activity. We need to ensure that we're coming out with one voice and getting on the same page around what are those key priorities, where are the key areas that we can most strategically support the industry to survive through, but actually come out better at the other end and not just make it through. On the labor front, we're continuing to research and use the alignment with our National Sector Council, and we're looking at updating our own Nova Scotia HR strategy. As we shifted into a more innovative training delivery, we found efficiencies around how we can be more effective with getting information shared with those who need it the most, making sure that we're looking at how those skills are actually being updated, and partnering with funding agencies to find the most effective use of their investment dollars. I want to close today by encouraging people to think about staying tourism strong. And we actually are launching and hosting a special event next week in Halifax. We've invited retired General Rick Hillier to join us, and we do have tickets available still for an exclusive, limited, safe number of people to join us on the 24th. If you check us out on TIANS.org or the Tourism Strong site, you can access your ticket there. In closing, I want to say thanks again to TIAC Congress for inviting us to be part of the agenda today, and remind you that in order to be resilient, we need to be tourism strong, but that means we also will have the capacity to recover from difficulties and be adaptable and flexible. I'm going to open for any questions that may remain, and thank you very much. Perfect. So we do have a few moments for Q&A, and I'm just opening up the chat room here to see if there has been anything that has come along from anybody asking questions. On the Tourism Strong site, I'd really like to encourage those industry in the room that haven't been on it yet to please do visit at tourismstrong.ca And under the webinars section in particular, there's a significant, very valuable amount of content, both of recorded as well as upcoming live webinars. One of the newest series that we have launched is actually focused on combining occupational health and safety as well as a diversity and sensitivity training for the industry. We're bringing in approximately 8 different experts from a range of different groups, and they are going to be providing webinars over the next 4 months to industry operators to help support them as they get back to business again. Just checking to see if there's any other questions here. We've got a great number of participants on the call, and I do really appreciate, again, you taking time to check in. And please don't hesitate to reach out to the TIANS office in whatever capacity we can support or serve you. We are here for you, your association, and would love to be able to connect directly with you as well. And with that, I also want to say thank you to Chris, our technical support, who has made sure that the session is run so smoothly today and that the audio and visual was easy to manage. Getting a note from Charles Cole. Thank you very much. And again, don't hesitate to reach out. Chris, I think that will do for the day. Thanks.
Thank you to all our provincial and territorial partners. Merci à tous nos partenaires provinciaux et territoriaux. Voilà ce qui nous amène à conclure le congrès touristique de l'AITC. It has been a packed 2 days. Don't worry if you've missed any sessions, as recorded sessions will be available to members on the TIAC website. You'll be able to access recorded sessions beginning on November 23rd. Please join us at 2:30 p.m. Eastern for an industry social and celebration with Air Canada, Destination Toronto, and WestJet, as we honor our Hall of Fame inductees, present our Lifetime Achievement Award, and put on a special salute to Canadian tourism. Joignez-vous à nous à 14h30 heure de l'Est pour une activité sociale et une cérémonie organisée par Air Canada, Destination Toronto et WestJet. Nous rendrons hommage aux personnes intronisées au Temple de la Renommée, remettrons notre prix d'excellence pour l'ensemble des réalisations et saluerons tout particulièrement le tourisme canadien. Merci encore d'avoir été les nôtres pour ce tout premier congrès touristique virtuel de l'AITC. Et n'oubliez pas le mot-clic, le tourisme compte. Thank you so much for joining us for this first ever virtual TIAC Tourism Congress. I'm Catherine Callery, and it's been my distinct pleasure and honor to be your MC on this very important Tourism Congress for 2020. It's been quite a year, but we're going to get through this together as an industry. This is a very resilient industry, and it shows the importance of all of us gathering here today and tuning in. We've had over 3,000 registrants tune in over the last 2 days. It just shows the importance of coming together. So keep at it. We're going to get through this. And remember, #tourism counts.